What up, peeps? You just gonna leave me hang?
It's Gabe and Babe.
Oh.
You never forgot how to do it?
It's been a long time since we've done a couch conversation.
You always do the What Up Peeps. You're the What Up Peeps person. But we can do it together if you want. What do you want to do? You want to do it together? It's your beautiful self. We'll do it together.
1, 2, 3.
You wasn't ready.
Okay. 1, 2, 3. What up, peeps? It's Gabe.
And Babe.
And we're back with another couch conversation show.
This is our favorite one.
This is like
one of our favorites.
One of our favorites. I think that our story will always be my favorite couch conversation.
Absolutely.
And apparently it's everybody else's favorite too because it has the most views. It's like our most viewed video of all times. Mm-hmm. So if you've never watched it, I'll put a little link. You can go check it out about our story if you're new to the channel, but most of you are not. So this is going to be all about our pregnancy journey, trying to conceive, all of the stuff we went through to have the whole process, y'all. Like the entire process. You guys have had a bunch of questions, and we just wanted to make sure that we covered everything. So
we'll do our best.
We're gonna do our best, and we're gonna do our best to keep this under 30 minutes.
Yeah, and it'll probably be something where this is our couch conversation, but then we're gonna probably have a couple more videos coming out soon. They'll be more vlog-like, but they'll show the actual footage and you know our journey actually in the moment. So those are coming up too, so be on the lookout for those.
Cool. Super brief overview. If you are new to the channel, we have a son. He's 4.5. Siege! And after he turned like 1, maybe like when he got to like 1.5, we started trying for baby number 2. So that was like 2014. 2015 in June, we got pregnant and then we miscarried. So 2015 on to 2016, that's kind of where we want to start this. Really quick disclaimer before we go into this story. This is real adult stuff. Yeah. So if you're watching with your kids and you're not really sure you want them to hear about, you know, fertility stuff and things, maybe not watch that with them. Like, I mean, it's not going to be
nothing
horrible,
nasty or horrible, but it's
I don't want to talk about this in front of your kids if it's not something that you talk about. So just an FYI. So in the beginning of 2016, we were like, okay, you know what? We're going to go see the fertility doctor and just, you know, see what the options are.
See what the options are in case we wanted to move forward in that direction.
Exactly. So we went to a reproductive endocrinologist. I'm just going to refer to him as an RE.
It's impressive that you can say that.
And I hope that I'm saying it right as I'm saying it so confidently. Really but so we went and Babe had a semen analysis and they, you know, checked all of my, you know, my ovaries and my follicles and all of that stuff. And when the test came back,
she was good.
I was good.
But mine, so they measure 3 things and it's the count, the mobility, and the motility. Hope I'm not wrong there.
Yeah.
But believe the motility is like the shape of the actual semen.
Yeah.
And that was off. So the RE said, I think you should, you know, we can definitely move forward, but you should probably go ahead and go to a urologist and get that checked out and see if there's something they can correct.
Right.
You know, before we try anything. So it can help with the success rate.
Exactly. So he went to see the urologist, had a test again, and they did something called like a DNA fragmentation test.
It's where they test the DNA of the actual semen to see why it's morphed or not normal.
Maybe it's the morphology that was off, not motility. Honey, it don't even matter.
It don't matter. The shape was off. The shape was off.
So because the shape was off from the DNA fragmentation test, we learned that he had a higher number of abnormal sperm. So when you have an abnormal sperm, that gives you the higher chance of miscarriage if you do get pregnant.
Yeah, yeah.
So we were kind of like, maybe that's why we had the miscarriage, you know, last year because of that. But the urologist also said that it's one of those things where they don't, like, it could be, it could not be. So he was like, you know, if you want to do something fertility related, like, you can go forward. You can try, like, an IUI, which is intrauterine insemination.
Good job. So I'm glad you're doing it.
So we were like, okay.
So he said, the urologist said, you know what, regardless of your numbers, I think it's worth trying an IUI before we move forward, because I was diagnosed with, the urologist diagnosed me with what's called varicocele. I'm sure you guys have heard of that, but I had them in an area that's, that can actually hinder, that affect the actual sperm. So, we love y'all. See, I'm giving out some information here.
Some information. Like, this was, sorry, I don't mean to cut you off, but we really wanted to share this part because a lot of times infertility falls on the woman, and you don't really hear about male infertility issues a lot. So we figured, this is our platform. We want to talk about it because it happens. It's not always the woman's fault, So I mean, not saying that it was Babe's fault, but
it's definitely nobody's. It's not always on the woman, like that she's got an issue or something like that. It's just I think men don't necessarily talk about it as much. True. So that's what he diagnosed me with, and he said that was what was causing the DNA issues. So, but he said that IUI was safe to go forward with and try it because it definitely could work. So we went ahead and
but at this point though, I kind of got cold feet, and I felt like...
So she put socks on.
I felt like, okay, are we doing too much? Should we just be waiting? Because at this, I mean, we're still praying continuously throughout this whole journey. Like, God, this is the desire of our heart. We really want to have another baby. Like, are we jumping the gun? Should we actually do this? Exactly. So I just kind of was like, let's just press pause. Plus, 2016 was a huge year for us, like, in terms of being really busy. So we were traveling all the time. It was just a lot going on. So we put the brakes on, and then fast forward to September, he had a follow-up appointment with the urologist. Because I think the urologist had prescribed like some pills for him to take.
He prescribed like some kind of like vitamins and basically it was like a vitamin that he prescribed. But I'm horrible at taking medicine.
He wasn't taking them pills.
I was taking, but the thing is though, when we went back to him, I probably took the pills maybe 40% of the time. But there was no real improvement. And so he's like, well, I mean, if they were gonna work, what you took should have done something. Obviously, it'd been better if you took it every day, but I didn't. He said, so the fact that it didn't really help means that just isn't the answer. That was just kind of his first answer to let's try this first.
Right.
So then he recommended like surgery. So obviously that's, pretty touchy, area, and that's definitely just, concerning. But either way, he still thought that we could go forward with an IUI, before doing any kind of surgical procedure.
So he just kind of like threw that out there, something for us to think about. Okay, go back and, think about it and let me know what you think in terms of the surgery. So this was in September, and I was like, you know what, let's just do an IUI. Because an IUI is basically where they take the semen and they insert it into the uterus to get it right there.
So it doesn't have to swim all that way.
So it doesn't have to get there. So it kind of like cuts down, half of the process.
Because apparently like a lot of semen, they die, or they don't all make it. They don't make it the journey.
Where the journey is, exactly. So it just puts the semen right there with the egg to cut down on all of the extra work. So we decided in September we're gonna go with the IUI. Guys, so I don't know when you're gonna see this, but I'm starting my first IUI journey. It's exciting. I just had an ultrasound situation. They wanted to check my ovaries and my uterus and make sure that everything is okay to get me started on the Clomid. So yeah, I'm still like in my get up here, but that was interesting. So now I'm gonna go over, well, get dressed, go over and get all of my instructions. So I'll talk to you more about it in the car. I'm out of there. I got my care instructions. I have this belly shot instructions for when it's time to do the belly shot. So funny. She was like, just go on YouTube. Just Google it. It's really easy. But yeah, so the doctor came. He asked me what happened. And because we came and had our first appointment with them in March or April of this year. And we were gung-ho. We were ready to start our fertility stuff. And then I panicked and, kind of felt like maybe I wasn't trusting God if I was going this route, and I was like, maybe I'll just wait, and which is probably good because we've been insanely busy and traveling like crazy and just doing too much. So now that everything is calmed down, this is a better time. But so he, you know, he understood, he got it, and he was saying, you know, he mentioned about the story where the guy is drowning, and 3 boats come by to save him, and you know, he ends up drowning, and he gets to heaven. He asks God, like, what happened? I thought you were going to save me. And God was like, I sent you 3 boats. Like, I'm paraphrasing, but I'm sure you guys have heard the story. And he was like, you know, God works multiple ways. So that was really good for him to say that. Like, I don't know, I guess that was confirmation for me, or it felt good to me that I wasn't doing something unnecessarily, because some people do need help facilitating pregnancy, and maybe Chad and I are just those people that need the help facilitating it. So I don't know, I was happy that he said that. I felt a little peace when he said that. So we did all of that, and the IUI number 1 was unsuccessful. Yeah. So we decided
had to wait till your next
October, which was my next cycle, to do another one. So IUI number 2.
Y'all, so this is about to happen. My numbers were better this time, so I'm excited.
Yeah.
Beautiful wife is...
I'm getting ready.
This is gonna happen.
It's gonna happen. God's gonna make a baby today.
That's right.
Just gotta relax.
Unsuccessful.
Yes. So we were like, okay, we're gonna try.
Third time's a charm.
Third time's a charm, right? Like, this is about to happen. You know what I'm saying? So we have IUI number 3 in November.
So y'all, IUI number 3 has been performed. And we're feeling good about it, y'all. We're feeling good. Yeah. Very good. How you feeling, sweetie?
This is the one. Oh, Lord, I pray that this is the one.
Be fearless, sweetheart.
Be fearless. Yes. So
we got this.
God's got it. And it was unsuccessful as well.
No charm on the third time.
We decided to go with the IUIs too, because there's a huge price difference in an IUI versus going straight to IVF. So we figured, because it's so inexpensive, we can do multiple rounds. And you know, the doctor, the RE, he said that, you know, it can sometimes take 3 to 6 times before it's even successful. But he said if it happens, if you have 3 and they're unsuccessful, then it might be time to look at other options. So we probably would have done another one in December, but it was the holiday season and they were going to be closed when my cycle was happening. So it was just like, okay, maybe God is just telling us this is not what we need to do.
Absolutely.
So first of this year, 2017 rolls around, and we're talking more about surgery. I thought that I was kind of breaking Babe down.
Also with that, so because the surgery was, I don't have medical insurance like she does, so I do everything through the VA, which is awesome.
Because it's covered.
But that means I have to do everything through the VA. So the urologist appointments, we would pay for those out of the pocket. So he said that he thought that, you know, that the VA would cover it, but I would need to go and do everything with the VA, which made sense. So, so I did go to VA and meet with my doctor and get that process started of where they would possibly cover the surgery. Yeah. And so I was on board.
Babe jumped. I was going to even get to the point where we decided we were going, because we went back to the urologist and decided we were going to have the surgery, and we were just going to self-pay. We were like, oh, we'll just self-pay.
But then they told us the price.
And then we found out the price, and we was like, no. First we were going to self-pay it, or we were going to have VA just approve it, because we thought we could just set up the appointment, set up the surgery, and then like get some paperwork from VA, because that's all the lady said. She was like, all we need is a, you know, certificate from the VA saying that we can do it. Well, if you ever dealt with the VA, that's not like the quickest process.
Easy. Not that easy.
So we found out that he actually had to go to the VA urologist. They had to say he needed the surgery, and then they would either do it there or let him go somewhere else. And we were like, okay, how long is this process going to take? And even if he had the surgery,
then you have to wait 3 months.
You have to wait 3 months.
Before
the urologist was like,
good
I wouldn't want you to pay for any, you know, any fertility treatments until the 3 months have passed to even see if there's improvement from the surgery. But he was like, you can still go forward with, you know, if you want to try IVF.
Yeah.
Or if you want to do the surgery. So that's kind of where we were. Then once we found out how much the surgery was, then we found out the VA was taking forever. We was like, okay, let's go see some other doctors.
Let's go see some. So we did, yeah. We shopped around.
We shopped around just because not that we didn't love our other RE, but I just wanted to see what else was out there. And you know, he just had one of those type of personalities. Like, he was real direct. And not that he had bad bedside manner, but
no, he was very, very nice guy. But he wasn't he wasn't like the guy that you sit there and just have like conversations with. This is a big process.
Yeah.
You're a part of a really big time in our life as a fertility doctor, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
And we wanted to feel like
we were comfortable.
We were comfortable, you know, and with him, we were comfortable, but we just wanted to look around.
Yeah, for some reason, we just wanted to look around. So we went to one fertility office, met with the doctor, and was like, absolutely not. And then we went to another one who we had actually met with before. Like, we met with him around the same time we met with our first RE, and we decided to go with the other one. So we were like, well, let's go back to him and talk to him. We left that appointment and we were like, this is the guy.
Easy decision.
Yeah, super easy decision. So we decided to go forward with IVF. And that was a huge decision within itself, honestly.
Well, because you don't understand. Yeah, I mean, it was a big decision.
It was huge.
You don't understand, like, what goes into it. So it's not just saying, you know what, let's do the IVF. But then it goes into like, okay, well, do you want like guarantees where, like, you know, you can have multiple egg retrievals, or you get your money back if you don't become pregnant. Like, there's all this like money back guarantees and 90-day warranties and
not no warranty though. I mean, like, it is so much.
It's a business decision in
not
essence.
Not to mention how much it like it's expensive.
Yeah.
So, you know, they can start from $15K and go up. So this was a huge decision for us, and we decided to go with a plan that gave us 2 tries. So the plan we went with, it gave us 2 egg retrievals for IVF, and then unlimited frozen egg transfers. So basically, if you're familiar with the IVF process, you know, you stimulate your ovaries, try to get as many eggs as you can get. They retrieve those eggs, and then what we had to do an ICSI process, ICSI. I'm not even going to try to tell you what that stands for. I'll put it right here, but that's when they actually take the semen and insert it into the egg. So they take one sperm and insert it into each individual egg, because that gives you the highest chance of that, you know,
Them fertilizing.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So if you get multiple eggs, then you have the unlimited frozen egg transfer. So if you have, you know, normal embryos, you try the IVF. If it doesn't work, then you go to the next embryo. You have another.
You don't have to do another egg retrieval.
You don't have to do a whole nother egg retrieval. So I hope that makes sense. So our plan was to have 2 egg retrievals if we needed to, and unlimited frozen egg transfers. So yeah, we made that decision. And yeah, it just took a lot for us.
Well, because we were just praying. Our biggest thing is, you guys know that we love the Lord, and we are extremely blessed, and we know it. And so we didn't want to make a decision that where we wanted to make sure that we still understood that God had to make it happen regardless of what procedure we were doing.
Absolutely.
We wanted to make sure that we understood that we weren't thinking, you know, because, you know, we knew that it wasn't going to happen just because we weren't saying, you know what, God, we've got it.
Right.
We're going to handle it.
We're just going to let the doctors handle it.
No, we were saying, God, okay, we're going to use the doctors and their procedures, but we still need you to work a miracle.
Absolutely.
And that's what we had to make sure that we were doing.
Yeah. Like we you know, we prayed, and we were just like, Lord, we want to take this step, but we want to make sure that it's what you want us to do. And we know that at the end of the day, you have the final say so.
You gonna make it work or not?
There are plenty of people that go through IVF rounds, multiples, because they don't work, you know. So at the end of the day, science can only do so much. Like, God has the final say so.
Yeah.
So, you know, we finally made that decision, finally went through, and it's a process. It is.
More, but for her, I mean, I wish that I could have taken some of the burden of that, because I mean, she's a champ and you're a champ. She did I got to help with whatever I could, but she had to experience it physically.
Yeah. So you go through, the first thing you go through, well, it's interesting because we're getting started, but you have to make sure everything is okay first. So like I had to take birth control for like 2 weeks before, just to calm everything down before they start to stimulate the ovaries to get the eggs growing. So I go in and I have my ultrasound and they find a cyst. Out of nowhere. I've had 3 IUIs. I ain't never had no cyst. And I just remember being so distraught and just down because I'm like, okay, Lord, I thought we were finally there. Like, what? Why? You know, because that delays the process. Today was supposed to be the start of our IVF cycle that we have finally decided we were going to do. It's been a long time getting to this point. And it's like, okay, we're gonna do it. Let's do it. So today was my baseline ultrasound appointment. Get in there. And I have a large cyst on, I think, my left side. I really don't even remember. So I can't start stimulating because obviously the cyst is big, so you know, want to make my ovaries big or my follicles bigger because there's just not enough room for that. And I don't know why I'm so emotional. I've been like researching IVF and watching videos and reading blog posts, and everybody says to be prepared for setbacks. And I guess, I don't know, for whatever reason, I think I just didn't think that I would have setbacks. I mean, I've had 3 IUIs and I've never once had a cyst. So, or at least not a huge one like this that I knew of, because I don't think they would have went through with the IUI. So it's just kind of surprising, like, what? So then my first thing is like, okay, Lord, you're making sure that none of this happens on my time, is what I feel like. Like, that's the first thing that came to my mind. Like, okay, God, why? Like, I don't understand why this is my issue. Like, I don't understand what I'm supposed to be learning from this. And I mean, she's got to run it by the doctor. He's got to check my blood. And if she said if it's not hormonally active, we can keep going. But if it is, then I'll have to take birth control for 3 weeks. I had to go back on birth control, yada, yada, yada. I had to go back to even see if the cyst was gone. Babe and I just left the doctor. The cyst is gone. Yes! I'm so excited. So I may actually be starting my shots tonight. Like, I'm not sure what I was expecting, but yeah, she was like, well, I'll give you a call, but I think you'll probably start them tonight. That is exciting and nerve-wracking at the same time, you guys. Oh my goodness. We're officially starting this IVF journey. It is officially happening. I am so excited. So the cyst was gone and we could move forward. So while going through this stuff, like, you know, we have this whole huge like folder full of tips and things and, you know, all types of things that you can do. And one of those things was acupuncture. So you guys, if you saw the vlog where I went and had like my first acupuncture appointment, the whole purpose of that was to help facilitate the IVF process. So you go like 2 times before you have the egg retrieval, and then you go back like a week before the transfer, and then the day of the transfer. So that whole like experience.
She talked about acupuncture a few times, and that was all. Yeah, but I never
really said what it was for. It was all for fertility. So
and it was right next to the office, so it was like perfect.
It was perfect. Yeah. So we do all of that, and then we stimulate. And when I say stimulate, it's a lot of medication. So I had to give myself a shot like in my stomach every day sometimes 2 and 3 shots to make sure I got, you know, the recommended dosage.
Yeah.
And then we were going to the doctor. Like, I was going to the doctor every other day because they had to take blood work and they had to give me an ultrasound to see how the follicles were growing.
Yeah.
So this was like a 2-week process. It was stressful, like just because it's a lot.
And you don't know if it's going to work. So it's like
Yeah.
you're just, you know, you're trusting that all of this stuff is going to happen. But then, you know, the worst thing is that you end up it all being for nothing because it didn't work, you know. So it was just stressful.
It was just a
you know,
stressful time. So then eventually we get to the point where stemming is done and it's time to retrieve the eggs. So we had the egg retrieval and they took 10 eggs. And this is actually something where we have an actual vlog of the whole like egg retrieval day. So you guys will see that. Yeah, it'll come, you know, in the next like couple weeks or so. But we have the egg retrieval. They took 10 eggs. So they got 10 eggs and they were able to ICSI all 10 of the eggs, like put the sperm in the egg. And then the next morning they wait to see how many actually fertilized.
Yeah.
So the next morning we got the call that 8 out of the 10
so we were pumped.
Fertilized. So we were like, hey, look at this, we got 8. Hey.
We were so excited.
So, but it's still a process.
You have to wait 5 days.
It's still a waiting game.
Like
so
5 days, right?
Yeah, you have to wait until they become 5-day blastocysts. So another thing that we decided when we decided on the IVF process, we decided on PGS testing. And it's basically that they take a biopsy from the blastocysts.
Yeah.
Once it's reached the 5 days, they send those off to the lab and they test everything. Like they test all the like the chromosomes and everything. They're just looking for it's a genetic screening, so they're looking for things that could be wrong, because having PGS tested embryos gives you like 70% success rate. So for us it was important. It is an additional cost, but for us it was important because we had already experienced a miscarriage and we didn't want to waste time putting back an embryo that was abnormal and was probably going to end in a miscarriage anyway. So for us it was like a no-brainer. Everybody does not choose to do that. And when you do PGS testing, you find out everything about the everything about this blastocyst. So you do find the gender, you find out everything, and they don't have to tell you the gender, but it's just it's not why they do it. Like, they do it for genetic reasons.
They look for the normal versus the abnormal.
Yeah, that's all that they're looking for. But it also tells you everything else about it.
It says if it's an X or a Y.
Yeah, XY or XX. Yeah. So they have to get to 5 days. So back to that. We had the 8. So by day 5, we had 2 that made it and looked great. So they were like, we're going to biopsy these 2 and we're going to freeze them so we can send these cells out to get PGS
So we were
tested.
praying for both of them to come back, please.
Okay. So then she was like, but you still have 4. Well, by day 5, 2 were ready and 2 were done. But we were like, they were like, you still have 4 that we're going to keep watching because it may take a couple more days for them to get, you know, if they're still progressing. This was a Friday. She was like, we'll watch them until Monday because we won't send the cells out until Monday. Yeah. So she called me Monday morning and said that the other 4
never progressed
didn't really progress any further at all. So we were only left with the 2. And it's like, okay, God, we was like praying, like, Lord, please. Everybody was like, I just remember, because all of our like family and close friends like knew we were going through this, and I just remember everybody being like, it only takes 1. It only takes one, you know. So we're like, okay, Lord, okay, Lord. So they go out, they get tested. It takes like 2 to 3 weeks or something like that for that to happen.
Yeah.
So we get a phone call when we are in New York with Pampers. Not this last time, but in like when we were there in March or April, we get the phone call. So we were like in the office, in the Google office that day, like, you know, all day. And we had like a break. And I saw that the doctor called me. So,
and I'm somewhere else.
Babe was like, I think he was outside on the deck with TJ. I think y'all were like filming outside.
Yeah, we were doing something.
Because we were just on like a break, and I was like, oh my goodness, the doctor called me. So I like went in the hallway. I didn't even grab the camera, and I'm so mad because I never got my initial reaction because I was just worried about what he was going to say. I was like stressed about it.
That's all that mattered in that moment.
Yeah, so I went in the hallway and I like listened to the message. So then I called him back and he was like, well, we got the results and one was abnormal and the other one was normal. So I'm like, yay, we got one. Oh my goodness, like, thank you, Lord. And he's like, do you want to know the sex? And I'm like, absolutely. And he's like, it's a girl. And I screamed, y'all. Oh my goodness. Like, people was probably in the bathroom like, is something wrong? Like, I screamed. And he was like, well, I'm glad you're happy about that. I think he was caught off guard by my reaction.
Yeah.
But you guys, I was so like, man, it was just like this sigh of relief. Like, only God could do this. Like, you guys know that I've wanted a girl since I can remember. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's what she's, I mean, yeah.
You guys already know.
Yeah, that's all she.
So, and then with us having Chad Jr. already, we were like, gosh, it would be great to have a girl. Like, we always said we'd try 3 times for a girl, but if you can get one of each, like, that's,
because
you know,
because then it's just like, you know, at this point it's just like we can be done if we decide we're done. But if we're not, if we decide to continue going,
there's still no guarantee.
There's no stress at that point.
That's true. That is true, because I mean we have one of each. So whatever
there's
we
no
get,
stress
we
at
get.
that point.
So you guys, I was so excited. I immediately hung up and called my mom because she knew that we were waiting on these test results too. So I called her and told her, and I didn't even get her reaction. She just cried. She was so happy, and we were just like, oh my goodness, thank you guys. So I got a phone with her and I found Babe and like pulled him to the side so we wouldn't like make a scene, and told him, and we just wasn't it the best feeling ever?
I mean,
man,
jinx on the side. It was just, I mean,
I wish that you guys,
I wish you could have been in the moment with us, and
I don't know why I didn't grab the camera. It just didn't happen that way.
It just didn't, because the camera didn't matter at that moment.
It didn't.
You know,
I was
like
just
nothing else.
So concerned.
We were just so thankful, and like, and like, that was just our moment. You know, I hope we're describing that moment for you well enough, because that was just our moment that we'll cherish forever.
Yeah.
You know,
it's just like, I'm sorry, I don't mean it's just, it's that moment when, you know, you've prayed for something for so long, and it's like,
wow,
God really answered our prayers. Like, all it takes is one. Like, he didn't give us multiples. Like,
we couldn't freeze any extra.
Yeah, we didn't have no extra, which I was kind of like, dang, for all this money, it'd have been nice to get 2 for 1. But that's not the way God works. You know, that's not the way he worked for us.
We asked for a baby girl.
We asked for a baby girl, and he delivered, man. Like, so that's why we wanted to kind of wait and tell you all of this, because this is like our testimony of just having faith and trusting God. And we wouldn't have been able to tell you this before we told you what the gender was, because I think that that's a huge part of
it's a huge part of the testimony. About the one embryo being
the one,
like,
you know? Being a girl, you know what I'm saying? Like, and please believe, like, we would have been happy if it was a boy, like, just to be able to continue growing our family. But the fact that God knew the desires of our heart, and he gave us that, like, whew, I don't want to cry, but I'm either, man, like, it's just, whew, it's amazing. So, so we find that out, and then we have the egg transfer day, like a couple weeks later. So April 26th was our transfer day, and we actually have footage of that we're gonna put in a vlog later on too. But yeah, so we have the egg transfer day, and then basically it's a waiting game.
Then it's a stressful.
It's an even more stressful waiting game, because then I'm still giving myself shots. Well, Babe.
Well, no, that's when I started giving her shots.
Babe started giving me shots because they had to be in my butt.
Yeah.
So
I didn't mind. You know what I'm saying?
Every day I had to get a shot, and I also had to take estrogen pills 3 times a day. And that happened from April 26th, the day of I think 2 days after the transfers when we started that, actually. Yeah, I think so. And then that went all the way through my 10th week of pregnancy. Yeah. So, yeah, he had to give me shots.
And we're what? We're close to 15 weeks now?
Yeah, tomorrow I'll be 15 weeks on Friday. So when you're watching this, I'll be 15 weeks.
So that's to show you how long she's taken.
It's such a process, man. Like, don't ever let anybody tell you IVF is easy, okay? Because it is a lot to go through. It's a lot on you mentally, physically. Like, it's just your emotions. It's taxing.
And it just proves, like, your strength, and it proves just women's strength in general that go through it, because
your strength too, because you had to deal with me.
I mean, you had to deal with it, but you know, but it's like, it's crazy to, you know, it takes, I mean, just strength to put yourself through that, you know, and it killed me because I couldn't take any of that. I can't take any of that from her.
No,
she's got to do it, you know, and so she knows how much I appreciate her for going through this, you know, but no, so we did that.
We did the shot, and then like you're not supposed to test until like
day 10, right?
Day 10 days post. I started like day 5, just, you know, let me taste a little bit, and it was like a faint, super faint line. And then like every day, well, like the next day I did it, it was darker, and then I like waited a couple days, and then we actually went to Playlist. We went to Playlist Live. We were supposed to have my first beta test that Saturday, but we were at Playlist, so they pushed it to that Monday when we got back in town. But that Saturday, I ended up taking like a real test,
and we filmed that.
We did film that, so we can get like our reaction of when like a for real test. Because I was using like the little HCG strips, but like a for real test, and it was positive, and I was like, oh.
Like you woke me up.
I woke Babe up and everything. So we have footage of that too. It's coming, y'all. I promise it's coming. But we're trying not to make this the longest video ever, so that's why we kind of like split it up. But this was basically just to kind of tell our testimony of how we got to this point, the struggle, and how we got there. Because we've mentioned doing fertility stuff before, but we've never gone into grave detail. So yeah,
exactly. And then we wanted to have the complete story to be able to because we believe this is our, you know, our testimony, and we just pray that it encourages somebody or helps somebody that maybe is thinking about going through it or has been through it, and you know, and that and it has success, or even maybe had, you know, it didn't work, you know, and it's just, man, we're just thankful, man. It's just so thankful. And we don't, you know, and we fully believe that none of this could have happened without God making it happen, you know? None of it.
None of it. Like, he has the final say so. Like, down to us having one baby girl to insert. I mean, one. And she's stuck. Like, just saying that, it's just like, God is so good. Like, and it's crazy because we, you know, we prepare for, well, if it doesn't work, we got another try. You know what I'm saying? Yes, like, we even paid a little bit more money to have that. But it's like, God is faithful, man. He will give you the desires of your heart, man. It's just...
might not be on your timing.
It will probably not be on your timing, okay? Because had I had say so, we'd have had this baby 2 years ago.
But I'm actually very thankful that we're having her when we are, because Chad Jr. is so excited. And he's old enough to understand. Yeah. And he's going to be so extremely helpful. I just know it because he's so helpful with us. He wants to he wants to help with this, help with that.
So excited, y'all. He's so excited.
So it's just, so the timing couldn't be better.
Yeah.
Because now we're in a place, if we would have had her 2 years ago, we didn't have a house.
We didn't.
We didn't have, you know, 2 paid off cars. We didn't have, like, there was situations that we were comfortable, but we weren't in a place that we are now.
Yeah. So it's just a blessing. God knows the timing. He knows, man. Yeah. He knows what he's doing. Every time you get in a situation, it's so easy to doubt and be like, Lord, like, do you hear me? Do you see what's happening? And he's just sitting up there like, I got you.
Like, dude, I can hear you.
I got you. You know what I'm saying? God has got you. Okay? Whatever it is you're going through, he's got you. So we hope that this was encouraging.
Absolutely.
Hopefully you stuck around to the end. If you did, thank you for watching.
If you didn't, then thanks for watching anyway.
I know, right? If you skimmed to the end, that's all right. Go back because you probably missed some stuff. But yeah, man. If you guys have any questions about the whole like IVF journey or, you know, anything, I may do like a Q&A, IVF Q&A on my channel, the Gabe Fix. So if you have not subscribed, go ahead and subscribe to the Gabe Fix.
Absolutely.
And I'm also actually getting ready to film my first trimester update. Yeah. So all of that good stuff will be up on the Gabe Fix. It should actually be up as you're watching this, or it'll be up later today. Yeah. So go on over to the Gabe Fix and you can see my first trimester update and finally see the
without me, you can just be your ladies and
all that good stuff. So yeah, I think that we covered everything. I feel like we tried to get a whole lot of story. Like we had notes and everything, y'all. We was trying to make sure we did not forget anything.
But I really feel like, you know, when we put out the vlog, you know, vlogs over the next couple weeks, it's just gonna be like 1 or 2 of the actual footage from our journey. I think that those will definitely help show what some of the stuff we're talking about. So, you know, I think it'll be good, and I think you guys will get more from those as well. But yeah, hopefully this helped.
Yeah, hopefully it helped you guys. Thank you so much.
To understand, you know, actually, thank you.
And yeah, we'll see you later.
That's right. Have a good weekend.
Bye, guys.
Deuces.
You got it locked, it was meant to be. So keep it right here, GabeBabeTV. All my peeps in the place with a smile on their face. You know we keeping it real, but it's all heart-shaped love.